Hi there. Welcome to Elevate Wellness. I am Coach Latanya. I have over 20 years in the fitness and wellness space. Every day, I help people online achieve their fitness and wellness goals through programs, products, and services. I believe that it's better to implement healthy, sustainable habits that we can engage in for years and years and years to come. Having dessert is something that's normal, it's something that I recommend. But how do we do it? We hear, oh, I do 80-20, oh, I do 90-10, but we don't really hear how to do that. So today I'm going to discuss with you a few ways that you can have your cake and eat it too. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this topic. So you've heard of the 80-20 rule, which means 80% of the time you're eating clean, the other 20% you're eating off plan, okay? I prefer personally the 90-10 rule, and I'll get into that shortly. 90-10 means that I'm 90% of the time I'm eating clean, and the other 10% of the time I'm eating off plan, okay? Now, the reason why is because I enjoy healthy food, okay? I enjoy it. I believe that it is absolutely delicious. I love the flavors, I love the textures. I enjoy healthy food. And desserts can actually be healthy as well. So for example, some nights, especially now that it's warmer out, it's hot out, I can actually have like a protein shake, and I'll put more ice in it to give it a little bit more body, almost like an ice cream or a ice milk or low-fat ice cream. So it's nice and creamy, but it still melts pretty fast. So I'll put the ice in there. I'll put my protein powder in there. I'll put some hemp hearts in there for my healthy fat. And then I'll also put in some almond butter, just 1 tablespoon of almond butter. And that is about 300-400 calories, okay? So I get my protein in, I get my fats in, and I get my flavor in, right? And it's refreshing, and that's like my nighttime treat, okay? And so it fits into my macros. It also helps me to enjoy that day, and I actually have to get that treat in order to hit my macros. And for me, that works because if I tell myself, oh, I can't have this, I'm going to want it even more, okay? So instead of telling myself, oh, I can't eat this and I can't eat that and I can't have that, I have to eat this in order to hit my macros. So that helps me to really create a strategy of enjoying foods or alternatives, enjoying treats that are healthy but also needed or necessary in order to hit my macros each day, okay? Now, Another example is having a handful of nuts. I get that from Costco, and I'll have it with 2 dates. And I love it. I have it with tea. I love it. For me, that is a dessert. And it has just enough sweetness and just enough crunch. It's perfect, okay? So that's another healthy snack. Another healthy snack for me is having some apple slices with drizzled with some almond butter and a little bit of cinnamon. I love that. Love it, okay? So those are 3 treats that I can have on a daily, weekly basis, and it's healthy, but it's also my dessert. So for me, 90-10 is enough because if I'm having that, I don't feel like I'm denying myself throughout the week. And then when I'm going out with my family, or my husband and I will go out, then I'm having, if I want to have cheesecake, if I want to have ice cream and pie, if I want to have pizza and nachos, whatever I want to have, I'm having it, but it's not something that I have often. It's not something that I had during the week, and it's something that I get to enjoy with my family or with my husband, okay? So that's how I do the 90-10, because I don't need something every day to feel, some people say to feel normal, and I just don't need that, okay? So for me, 90-10 works. But if 80-20 works for you, then 80-20 works for you. It's really not about you should do 80-20 and you should do this and you should do that. That's what I do for me, 90-10. And if 80-20 works for you, then 80-20 works for you. What I recommend is understand what works for you and stay consistent with what works for you. Okay? So the next tip is barbecues. It's summertime. There's parties, there's barbecues, there's birthday parties. I actually hosted one yesterday for my friends. We had a great time. I had some ice cream cake and it was delicious. I didn't have any cravings today. I enjoyed it yesterday and it is done. Okay? So how did I do that? I'm from the Carolinas where we do fish fries a lot. Okay? I am a fish fry girl. Now, what I recommend with these types of gatherings is eating before the gathering. Okay. The birthday party started around 3 o'clock. So I actually had a protein shake with some nuts and dates at 2 o'clock. Okay. So when 3 o'clock came, I was not starving. Therefore, I was not tempted. I actually was able to make a mindful, right, to make a healthy choice because I was not starving, right? So I had a nice, delicious salad and I had a slice of pizza. I cut the slice of pizza in half so I felt like I was being a part of the party, but I also enjoyed the salad as well. So because I'd already had the protein shake, I'd already had the vitamins and the minerals that I needed from that shake. So when I had the pizza and I had the salad, that just added to it. Okay. And then later on, I had some chicken breasts and then I had another salad with avocado and a low carb wrap, a low carb tortilla. I also am a tortilla person. I love them as well. And so I had that, which helps me to stay in my macros, helped me to have my fat, my protein, my fiber in. And then I had the ice cream cake. The ice cream cake was a nice portion, wasn't very big. It wasn't a slither, but it wasn't very big. I enjoyed it and I was done with it. Okay, and so whenever you're going to like the birthday parties, the gatherings, the barbecues, the picnics, the fish fries, all of those different types of things, that's one of the ways that you can do it, is eat before something with protein, something with fiber, something with a healthy fat in it. It doesn't have to be a whole meal, but it can be a nice snack, okay? And so when you go, and I recommend having it like 2 hours before you go. So then when you do go, you're not hungry, you're still satisfied, so you can go and make healthier choices. You don't have to eat a big portion with that meal. So if you're really wanting to have dessert later, you're not having such a big portion from the meal. I know I've been at barbecues and there's mac and cheese and hot dogs and all these different types of things. And if you really don't want to eat that food, if you eat earlier, you can have like a nice some fruit and you can have a nice salad, have a little bit of protein, and then go for the dessert without feeling guilty because you didn't overindulge with the meal and then the dessert. Okay, so that's another way that you can have dessert, especially during the summertime. Holiday times, pretty much the same thing too, because of all the different gatherings that we're doing. And so having your dessert, understanding that you can eat before, you don't have to wait and not eat, because I've seen that before. I've seen where people just will not eat and then they go there and then they overeat and then overeat and then overeat and then have dessert. Okay, so I recommend eating before, eat your meals and space them out. Eat before, about 2 hours before you go. Have a small meal while you're there, a nice, small, sensible meal while you're there, and then enjoy your dessert. Okay? So this way you're satiated, you had your dessert, you enjoyed the company, and then that's the end of that. Okay, so this last tip is knowing yourself. It's so important to know yourself. And to be honest, if you know that you cannot bring chips and cookies home with you, then leave them where they're at, okay? But if you know you can have them in the house, but as long as they're not visible, you're not going to go in the cookies at, 8 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, then you can have that. You can do that. But it really is important to be honest with yourself and not tempt yourself. You want to set yourself up for success. So if you're the type of person where you want to have a dessert a couple times a week. If you're doing 80-20, right, and you're doing this a couple times a week, 1 or 2 times a week, then you can do the portion size desserts. So let's say that you're having, I have an example. I love the Halo ice cream, and I don't have it every week, but I do have it. I love the Halo ice cream because it's high in fat. It does have protein in it, and it's low in carbs. It has the sugar, alcohols, and things like that. So I definitely don't do it every day. I don't do it every week, but when I have it, I enjoy having it. And what I try to do, for the most part, is at least have it twice, if not 3 portions, okay? So sometimes I'll be able to do 3 portions in it, and sometimes it's just like, you know what, it's okay, because again, it fits into my macros. As a matter of fact, there was one day in particular, it was probably on a Sunday, because Sundays I'm at church and I'm out and about and I don't get all my meals in like I normally do. And so I was actually under 500 or 600 calories for that day. And I needed my calories. I'm not going to go under calories in order to, I'm just not going to do that, okay? Because I'm going under my calories, I don't feel well, and then I'm not really fueling my body the way it needs to in order to burn fat. So I had the ice cream, and I actually had the whole thing. And I was so low in calories that day. I had it. I actually felt fine because I needed that fat. I didn't have the calories that I needed, and I had the calories through the ice cream. Now, I don't recommend that every day, but that's just an example of how I was able to balance that. I do not recommend eating ice cream instead of a healthy meal. That is just an example of how I had ice cream, and the deficit was so low that I just had the whole thing. But on average, when I'm having my ice cream, I'm having 2 to 3 servings. So I have it 3 times. So that 1 pint of ice cream can last me a whole month, okay? So I'll have the ice cream, but I'm portioning it out. And that if that's something you know you can do, you can have a pint, but just portion it out. So every Friday or every Saturday or just 1 time a week, you're having that 1 little portion, and then you're just enjoying it throughout at least 3 weeks, okay? That's how I have my ice cream. If that's something that you know you can do, then you can bring it into the house. There are other things too that are already individually wrapped. Ice cream, popsicles, those types of things where it's nice and cold, has a beautiful flavor to it. You can enjoy it and be done with that, okay? So that is what I recommend. Lastly, if you're going to have those portion-sized treats, I recommend also having dinner. So have your dinner first, making sure, or your lunch, having a meal before you have that dessert, so that again you're more satiated. Because if you're not satiated and you have a dessert, you're going to be more tempted to go back in there because you didn't have the calories that you needed, the minerals, the vitamins that you needed. So I recommend making sure, maybe an hour after, if you want, an hour after you eat your fat, your fiber, your protein, whether that's lunch or dinner, then going ahead and having some water in there, maybe some herbal tea in there, and then or some water, right? Then having your dessert that's already portioned out, individually wrapped, and then after that, maybe have some tea if you want to have some tea at night, and that's it. So that helps you to kind of balance it out. It helps to fill the space in your stomach. It helps to keep you satiated, and it also helps to keep you on track. All right? So those are my tips for having your cake and eating it too. Again, I do not believe that you need to be so rigid and so strict that you are denying yourself of foods that you enjoy. But I do believe that it is very important, in order to achieve that goal, it is very important that you find a balance for yourself. All right? So that is it. I hope that you enjoyed these tips today. And let me know in the comment section, which tip are you most likely to try? If you are new here to this community and you enjoy this type of content, then please go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so the next time I upload a video, you will be among the first to be notified. Okay? And to each and everyone who is already subscribed here, I want to thank you, thank you. I thank you for your comments. I thank you for just being here and liking. It helps me to understand. It helps me to understand the type of content that you are looking for. I stand in this space to really help you elevate wellness on your journey, on your fat loss and weight loss journey. I do this by providing these online workouts that you can do in the comfort of your own space, but also providing you with coaching tips that help you to navigate your everyday life when it comes to your weight loss journey. Okay, so thank you to each and everyone who's already subscribed here. And if you enjoy this content, please go ahead and share it with a few of your friends. Let's get more people elevating wellness. All right, and so until next time, live beautiful.